What's up, fam? How you guys doing today? So today we're going to be talking about the mods that you want for your Warframes. Now, these mods are going to be pretty important, and you're going to use them in majority of the scenarios that you find yourself in Warframe. So if you're new to Warframe, just keep in mind that these are the mods you want to go after, keep an eye out for, and that you want to hold on to if you ever come across picking up these mods. Also, a lot of these mods go for a decent amount of plat, just for it being like a single mod. A lot of them will sell anywhere between 10 and maybe like 50 or 60 plat, depending on what mod it is. But just keep in mind that most of these mods, you want to keep at least one of them for yourselves, because, like I said in a previous video, your skill in this game is not determined by how good you are at playing, it's determined by how well you mod your Warframes. So, getting started, you guys are going to be looking for Nightmare mission alerts, Orokin Vault missions, and missions just around the solar system is where a lot of these mods are going to drop, and I'm going to leave pictures up so you guys can see where these mods will drop and just, you know, a little bit about them and stuff. But starting off, the first thing we'll look at is Nightmare missions. These Nightmare missions are going to be found over here in the alert section. Now, when a Nightmare mission pops up, the missions are generally a little bit more difficult to do, and you are going to have no shields for this mission. They're usually a little bit difficult because the enemies are increased in, I think, 3 times the amount of damage that the enemies will put out. They might be a little bit higher levels, and you have no shields, like I said, so these are going to be a big pain in the butt. But that's not all. There's other things that the game has added to make it just a little bit more difficult, but that's for another video. Next thing you're going to look at is just alerts, also found in here. So if it's not a nightmare, it's going to be a regular alert, but this is also where you're going to find different mods that you're going to want for your Warframes. The other place that you guys are going to go is going to be Orokin Vaults. Now, the Orokin Vaults are always going to be found in the Derelict, and it's kind of like a game of hide and seek. You're going to have to look for these vaults when you go through the Derelict. In order for you to be able to unlock the missions to be able to do the Derelict here, you're going to need Derelict keys. And the keys are going to be found over here in the market. When you go to market, just scroll down to equipment, go to keys and drones, and it's going to be these. Any one of these blue looking keys right here are the ones that you're going to want. Strategically, it's kind of recommended that you go in with a team of 4, and I'll get into this in a second, but strategically you want to do it with an exterminate, because then there's only a certain number of enemies. Once they're all dead, you can run around the entire Orokin Derelict, and you don't have to worry about keeping yourself alive anymore once all these enemies are dead. So recommended to be Orokin Derelict. If you're super good at the game and you don't have any challenge with keeping yourself alive under any scenarios whatsoever, then you already know that captures would probably be better in that sense. But just keep in mind that these keys are only 1,500 credits, so they're really cheap. And if you just want to take a look at, this is really what it takes to build these for the most part, just these amount of resources. The builds for these keys is only 2 minutes, so once you buy the blueprints, you can just run down to your foundry, and you could go into keys, and you can build these, and it'll take about 2 minutes, and you're all good to go. The next thing would be just any mission, really, around the solar system. Some of these mods are going to drop from different bosses or different enemies, and ultimately what you want to do, not just for, you know, the bosses and the enemies, but even for the alerts, you want to have all these missions complete all around the solar system, because if a mission pops up on a level that you haven't completed yet, you're not going to be able to do it. So you want to complete all the missions that you possibly can. I went over that in you know, like the smart things you guys want to do. What is it? What you need to know about Warframe, the helpful guide video that I put out previous to this video that's coming out. So that's going to be linked in the description below, and you guys can check that out. But ultimately, you just want to have everything unlocked in Warframe. Now, back really quick to the Orokin Derelict. This is important. Now, some of you guys that have been around a little while might have heard of vault runs, and you may not be sure what those are. So in order for you guys to do vault runs, what you're going to need is a dojo, and you're going to have to go into your dojo, and you're going to have to get dragon keys. The dragon keys that you guys are looking for are going to be found in the Orokin Labs room, and if you look at my map right here, that's what the shape of the room looks like. So if you're already in a dojo, that's the room you're looking for. Hopefully your clan already has it built. If you guys are looking for a clan to get into so that you can get a hold of a lot of the things that can only be found in the clan or in the dojo, come on down to stream, earn yourself 50 hours. It's a requirement to get into our clan, because our clan is a stream family clan only, and we will be able to help you out with anything that you need. But That's how you get into our clan. But if you guys have a clan or anything like that, this is where you want to go, is to Orkin Labs, and you're looking for the Extinguished Dragon Key, Bleeding Dragon Key, Hobbled, and Decaying, and just buy all of these. You just want to be able to have each one of these blueprints. Now, these are blueprints for the keys, so when you buy them, you're still going to have to go into your foundry and build them, which is fine. You only have to buy these once, these blueprints, which is cool. So make sure you come on down to the Orkin Labs and you buy yourself some Dragon Keys so that you can do Orkin Vault runs. Now, ideally, I'm not going to get too into it, but ideally for the Orkin Vault runs, what you want to do is you want to run with a team of 4, and you want each person to have a different key on. You're only allowed to have one key. And the reason why you want to do this is because when you find these Orkin Vaults that are going to get you these mods that you're looking for, you're only ever going to be able to have one key on, and 2, you never know which Orkin Vault key is going to be required. It's random every time you run in there, so just keep that in mind. That's why you want to have a team of 4. You want to all have a different key on, so that when somebody finally finds it, somebody else is going to have the key, or one of you guys is going to have the key to be able to unlock that particular room right there. Getting into the aura mods that you guys want to have, this is what we're going to take a look at. We're going to take a look at the 5 most common aura mods that I wind up using. Now, the first one that we're going to wind up looking at is Corrosive Projection. Corrosive Projection can be stacked. All these aura mods that I'm going to show you, they can be stacked. So if everybody in your squad has, let's say, the same aura mod, they are stacked, which right now, Corrosive Projection is enemy armor is reduced by negative 30%. So if you had 4 people in your squad, you can't reduce any more than 100% armor, but you would have basically be fighting enemies with their armor reduced 100%, which is fantastic. Corrosive Projection is definitely one that you want to have when you are going into nightmare lore missions, or raids, I'm sorry. When you're going into raids, you definitely want to have this on, and it is probably one of the most common aura mods that I use on any of my Warframes. The second most common mod that I wind up using is Energy Siphon. Now, what Energy Siphon does is, this is really cool. This is also stackable, and the more people in your squad that have Energy Siphon, the more this is going to multiply out for you. But basically, your energy for your Warframe abilities is going to start, I guess, like, building up. Like, you're gaining energy just because you're wearing this aura mod, which is really awesome, especially if you're using a Warframe that drains a lot of energy. I know my Loki doesn't really drain a lot of energy, but having this mod on makes it amazing, because basically, in the amount of time with where my Loki's out that I stay invisible, by the time I come out of being invisible, I already have more than enough energy that it costs for me to go invisible in the first place. So that's a fantastic mod, especially if you have a speed duration Loki build. The next mod that we're going to take a look at that you guys want to have is Rejuvenation. Now, what Rejuvenation does is, this is basically the same thing that Energy Siphon does, but only for your health, and this is, again, stackable. So the more people in your squad that have an Rejuvenation on, the faster that your health is going to start, replenishing. And this, again, because it's an aura mod, it works for everybody on your team. So that's really awesome, because you definitely want to be able to have, like, I guess, these kind of mods on to be able to not just support yourself, but to also be able to support your team, making this, along with the other aura mods here, some of the most important mods that you could possibly have on, for at least as far as aura mods go. Also that made this list is going to be Rifle Amp. Rifle Amp is a great mod. The rifle damage is increased by plus 27% damage, so for those of you guys that have really strong rifle builds, guess what? They just got stronger, and of course, this stacks. So this is a fantastic mod. I know it works well with Warframes that, let's say, some of their abilities might depend on, certain damage, or certain Warframes abilities depend on certain mods. So for example, Titania, let's say, when you go into her Arcwing mode, her final ability, having Rifle Amp on increases the damage of her arc guns, which is fantastic. For those of you guys that have seen me play on stream Titania, I'm usually using Rifle Amp, which is how I could just mow through enemies. It would seems like any level on the solar system. The last aura mod that I want to talk about is Steel Charge. Now, this Steel Charge mod is really cool, because not only does it increase your melee damage, but if you look at the top right of it, its polarity is at 9. For those of you guys that are familiar with what aura mods do, I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you guys right now what the aura mods do. So for those of you guys, and this is just going to be a quick thing, I'll get back into the mods again. But basically, look at the top left of my screen where it says capacity. It says 60 out of 60. If I click on the aura spot and then I throw an aura mod on here that, let's say, has the same polarity, let's say a V polarity. You know what, I'll go to steel charge. We'll do that one. Or you know what, I'll just use anyone right now, and then I'll go to steel charge. So most of them are 7, but right here, this rifle amp, if I throw that on there, now my capacity isn't at 60 anymore, it's at 74. Which is awesome, because that's another 14 capacity that you can throw onto your builds. That almost saves you like 1 forma, so depending on what your build is. But that's really important. These aura mods are so key when you're playing this game. So just keep an eye out for those alerts and go grab those. I'm going to show you the steel charge right now. Because it's at 9, it's going to double it to 18. So now instead of it being 74 capacity, my capacity is 78. That's awesome. That is so awesome. But just keep in mind, you don't want to use steel charge for like just any old Warframe, especially if it doesn't even have that polarity on there. You can reformat your polarities, but just because the steel charge brings it up to 78 doesn't make it good for every Warframe. So just keep that in mind. As cool as that is, you don't just want to throw that on a Warframe that has no need for any kind of melee boost. The next set of mods that we're going to take a look at are survivability mods. Now, survivability mods are really key on a lot of times on having on your Warframe, especially if you have a Warframe that's really squishy. You want to have a lot of survivability mods on your Warframe. Or you want to have a lot of survivability mods on your Warframe if, let's say, your Warframe is, you know, been formed or it's brand new and it doesn't have any rank to it and you're still ranking it up. You definitely want to throw survivability mods on your Warframe then, so at least while you're leveling yourself up, you could stay alive longer and absorb more experience. So the first one we're going to take a look at is Armored Agility. Now, Armored Agility is plus 15 sprint speed and plus 45% armor. This is stackable with steel fiber, and I'm going to show you this in a second, but just keep in mind that this is stackable with steel fiber, as probably a lot of the armor mods are, but I'm going to show you that in a second. So the next mod that you guys want to look for and just hold on to and make sure that you have for yourself is Handspring. Handspring is going to give you 160% faster knockdown recovery, which basically means when you come up against those enemies that just will stomp the ground or do something to just knock you on your butt, having a handspring on basically just means like you do this cool looking backflip and you don't really sit on your butt anymore. Like it's really fast, and you're not stunned is really the big deal. So this will help you a lot from becoming susceptible to just not being able to fight for like a moment or two while the enemies are just damaging you. So that's a good one to have on. Not for every Warframe, but definitely depends on what your build is and what you're looking to do. The next one we're going to take a look at is Natural Talent. Natural Talent improves casting speed on Warframe abilities, if applicable, and 50% casting speed. So basically, what this means is that some of the Warframes, when you cast your abilities, they go into this little animation, and sometimes the animation takes a little bit longer than it really needs to. But having something like Natural Talent on will improve the speed of you casting your abilities so that when you, let's say, if you know you have like half a second to get your ability going, but your ability takes maybe like a second and a half, you're going to get screwed. So what you want to do is you want to be able to have a natural talent on the Warframes who maybe take a little bit too long to, like, you know, use their abilities. Now, this is also another mod that depends on how your playstyle is and stuff like that. So if you don't feel that you need a natural talent, then don't worry about it. You don't need a natural talent, but this is definitely another mod that I would recommend that you guys would, once you get it, you hold on to it and don't get rid of this unless you get extras and stuff. Another mod I would recommend is Quick Thinking. Quick Thinking drains energy to stop lethal damage with plus 124% efficiency. So this is really awesome. Basically what it's saying is if you have a Quick Thinking on it, I would not recommend you going into any kind of raid without having a Quick Thinking on. Because your Trinity may be the best Trinity in the world, but if you don't have a Quick Thinking on, there may be some times where, you know, and it's nobody's fault, you just get put down on your butt. And now your team has to stop what they're doing to come pick you up. But if you had a Quick Thinking on, you basically you wouldn't have to worry about, you know, basically once your health is all lost and stuff like that, you get knocked down on your butt. Basically what Quick Thinking does is it drains your health down to about 2. And then once your health, any damage you take past 2 gets pulled out of your energy, like, you know, like your energy pool and stuff like that. So this pairs really well with Flow because Flow extends the size of your energy pool. So having a Quick Thinking on and having a Flow is a really good combination because it'll basically, you know, give you like almost an extra life, if you will. And especially when you go into the raids, like I said, having that Trinity there, she may not always be able to bless and save your health at the exact time that you need her to, but as long as she's EVing and stuff like that, you know, pulling energy for the whole team, you're going to have a really large energy pool that you won't really have to worry about your health or getting knocked down on your butt. Another one that's really cool we're going to take a look at is Rage. Rage, what this does is it converts 40% damage on health to energy. So basically what that means is if you were to, let's say, take 100%, if you were to take 100 damage from an enemy, 40 of that 100 damage is going to increase in your energy. It's going to gain, you're going to get 40 energy back because you took 100 damage from an enemy. So basically what it's saying is when you take damage on your health, you're going to start gaining energy. So that's a really cool one that you want to have on. Also paired really well with having a flow. So this mod is really essential. Even if you're late game in Warframe, a lot of the late gamers still use these bronze mod. Don't ever get rid of these. And you'll probably pick this up really early in the game, seeing as I have 143 of them. So they're definitely going to pop up for you guys sooner or later. But this particular mod right here is awesome for your shield. And basically, when it's maxed out, it increases your shield to 140% shield capacity, which is fantastic. And that's a percent, that's not a plus. So if your Warframe has a really high shield, if your Warframe already has really high shields at base, then you're going to have way more shields when you throw this on. The number is going to be astronomical, which makes it a really fantastic and essential survivability mod. The next mod we're going to take a look at is Rush. Now, I'm a big fan of speed in this game. I just don't like when I'm moving slow. Like, I'm supposed to be some kind of really slow moving thing. I'm just not a fan of that. Rush increases your sprint speed by plus 30%. And I like using this on a lot of my Warframes. It's definitely on my Loki. My Loki, I think, runs at like 1.8 something percent in speed, and that's phenomenal. Like, that's really fast. But this is definitely a great mod for you to be able to, you know, like throw on if you're looking for more speed in the game. And also more speed is just going to help you like evade faster. You're going to be able to get away a little bit more. So I would count this as a survivability mod. It's not the most essential one, and it's usually the first one I take off if I run out of room because other mods have become more important. This usually isn't the most necessary mod that I have on, but it definitely is one that I love having on when I can. Steel Fiber. This mod is huge. This is the one that I was telling you guys about with Armored Agility. So this increases your armor by plus 110%, and I'm going to show you guys really quick, like, really what this is. Where you would want to use Steel Fiber. You want to use Steel Fiber on Warframes that generally have a really large amount of base armor, like Chroma or Frost, but I'm going to show you Frost here. So we're going to take a look at the build. I'm just going to swap over. I already have it preset so that it's on here. You guys can see Steel Fiber right there on this build, and that's all I have. So if you look at the top left, under where it says capacity, the first thing it says armor. My base armor is 435. When I throw Steel Fiber on here, it increases my armor up to 630. Now, if you have a Warframe whose armor is under 100, Steel Fiber may not be the thing that you want to use on that Warframe. It's really not going to be the biggest deal unless that Warframe, similar to Frost, and I'll show you this right now, but unless that Warframe has some kind of ability where the armor makes a difference, you don't really want to throw that on your Warframe unless it is, you know, like above 100. But taking a look at Frost right here, we're going to take a look at this without mods. I want you to look at the third one down on the right. It says Snow Globe, and I want you to look at the health. This is the health of the Snow Globe when you guys put that up for like protection and stuff. The base health of a Snow Globe is 5,000. If I click this and I see it with my mods on, now it's 6,600. That is incredible. That's because your Snow Globe, like I was just saying, like the ability, your Steel Fiber ability, your armor works with a Warframe ability. That's another reason that you would want to have Steel Fiber on. In most cases, I don't find myself using Steel Fiber, but it is an essential mod, especially for Warframes with high armor and that just use armor abilities a lot. So keep that in mind. Also, I know this goes up to 7,000 and change if I throw a Armored Agility on here as well, so you can make your Snow Globes even stronger than that. The next mod we're going to take a look at is Vigor. Vigor is plus 120% shield capacity and 120% health capacity. So this is really cool because now this is one mod that's giving you health and shield capacity. So basically, if you were normally going to use a Vitality, but maybe you didn't need all of the, health from the Vitality. If you were going to use a redirection, but you didn't need all of the shield from redirection, Vigor is a perfect mod for this, just because it takes care of both. And then you just saved yourself 2 Warframes, and then you just saved yourself like an extra mod slot for building your Warframe, making Rigor a really awesome mod. You guys definitely want to go ahead and grab yourself one of these. Vitality is such an incredible mod. You guys definitely want to have this. It is exactly like Redirection, only this is for health. Basically what Vitality does is similar to Redirection, or exactly like Redirection. It gives you 440% health. Redirection shields, Vitality health, but this is a bronze mod that even if you're late game in Warframe, you still want to have. You totally want to be having this mod on, depending on your Warframe, but this mod is fantastic for like a Naros, and Naros generally has a ridiculously high health pool because he has no shields. So if you throw this on there, I've seen people that have a Naros with health that's like over 4,000. They have over 4,000 health. That is insane. You are not achieving that unless you have a Vitality. But it's still good for a lot of other Warframes, really depending on your builds, but most of the time, this is going to be a mod that you are going to want to have with you. Now, I don't use it on a lot of my builds, but it is very important. So just because, again, like I said before, you guys see a bronze mod does not mean that it's not worth anything. Max this one out as soon as you guys can. You will be using this for a really long time. The last survivability mod that I want to show you guys is Undying Will. I don't normally use this, but I can see how this would be 100% like super fantastic with a Naros, especially if you're not at the point with your Naros where you could beat everything in the solar system. Undying Will is definitely a mod that, as much as I don't use it really at all, I would still recommend having this. This is still a great mod. It really depends on your playstyle and everything, but basically what it does is your bleed out reduction is plus 42%. So basically that means instead of when you fall on your butt and you got 15 seconds to have somebody come revive you, if you have an Undying Will on, that's going to go up to 30 seconds or more. Like, you definitely having this on are going to have a much longer time to sit around and wait for your teammates to come pick you up. If you're a Naros, the reason why I say that it would be really good with the Naros is because the Naros currently is the only Warframe that has the ability to revive himself. And the way that he does that is he basically just aims at an enemy when he goes in his sarcophagus, and he will drain that enemy's health, and he has to, once he drains his health back from that enemy or enemies, he will be able to basically revive his own self. So having this on is going to increase the amount of time that you have to be reviving yourself, because usually when you get, or sometimes when you get knocked down with the Naros, there's not always an enemy around, and you got to wait for them to just show up, and then to drain their health, it doesn't happen immediately, it takes a little bit. But those are the survivability mods that I would recommend you guys, once you hold on to those mods. The next set of mods that you guys want to keep an eye on and you definitely want to have for yourself is ability mods. Mods that basically increase your Warframe's abilities. The first one we're going to take a look at is Blind Rage. Blind Rage is for power strength. This is going to increase your power strength by 99%, but it's going to kill a little bit of your efficiency, still making it a fantastic mod. Blind Rage is one of those mods that you want to, if you get a chance to have a bunch of these mods, do that, because right here, I got the rank 10 Blind Rage, over here I got the rank 8 Blind Rage, and here I have a rank 2 Blind Rage. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm messing around in different ways with my stats. So basically what I'm doing is, over here with Blind Rage, I got 99 power strength, but this is killing 55% of my efficiency. So maybe my strength isn't as important as my efficiency, but I still need to have that strength. Well, then I don't want to throw this mod on there. I want to throw something that isn't killing my efficiency as much as a rank 10 Blind Rage on. So just keep in mind, some of these mods I'm going to show you, you guys might want to have duplicates of a lot of these Warframe ability mods, just so you can mess around with your Warframes and kind of make them a little bit more geared towards the way you like playing the game. The next one we're going to take a look at is Constitution. Constitution is plus 40% faster knockdown recovery, and similar to Handspring, they do not stack. According to the wiki, Constitution and Handspring do not stack, so if you have a Handspring and you have Constitution on, it's not going to make a difference, so pick one. But Constitution is also going to have 28% power duration, which is fantastic for your Warframe's durations. Continuity is probably one of the most used, and if you guys ever get a chance to get a primed continuity, I would absolutely recommend that. There are really only 3 primed mods that I would say are probably, in my opinion, you guys can have your own, but in my opinion, the 3 most important primed mods in the game is primed continuity, primed flow, and primed pressure point. But really, I say primed pressure point because I just love using melees. I'm such a B button spammer. I will use the melee like all day long. But anyway, continuity is definitely one that you want to have on. As you guys can see, it adds power duration and it doesn't decrease anything, so that makes it essential. Definitely get yourselves a continuity. Flow, like I had just mentioned, is a really awesome one that you guys want to have. And again, if you can get yourselves a primed flow, get yourself a primed flow. Flow is going to increase your power max by 150%. If you have a prime flow, it's going to be even higher. But this is basically your energy pool, like what, you know, like the pool of energy that you're using to be able to use your Warframe abilities. Intensify is such an awesome mod because Intensify is going to increase your power strength by 30 and it's going to kill nothing. It takes away like nothing else. So I love Intensify just for the sheer fact that I can gain power strength, and unlike Blind Rage and other mods, I don't lose anything else. So Intensify is definitely one that you guys want to have. Narrow-Minded is going to increase your power duration by 99%. That is such a big deal. But it's going to kill your power range, so really it's important on Warframes that really don't need any particular power range, like Nova, believe it or not. Nova, your power duration is basically going to keep your, let's say, your molecular prime ability, like the one that spreads out through the map, that's based off of duration, not range. So basically, when you use that as Nova, your molecular prime is going to spread based on the amount of time that your duration is based on your duration is going to increase the amount of time. Range has nothing to do with it, so that makes it a really awesome one, especially for Nova. But this is one that, like Blind Rage, I would say, you know, have multiple ones of these and have them at, like, different ranks. So Fleeting Expertise is a really awesome one. That's I find it's really hard to get a hold of. If you guys find one of these, consider yourselves lucky, because this is definitely a pain in the butt to get. But for when you guys get your Fleeting Expertise, there's one thing that you want to know. See how it says increases power efficiency by 60%? Usually when you use this, not usually, but a lot of times people will combine this with Streamline because that's the other power efficiency mod that you can throw on your Warframes. Streamline does plus 30%, Fleeting Expertise does plus 60%, making it plus 90%, right? The challenge is that DE has capped your efficiency on your Warframes at 175%, so it doesn't always make sense for you to max a Fleeting Expertise out. Definitely if you get a chance to get a hold of like 2 or 3 of these, you want to keep those because like you guys can see here, I have a rank 3 Fleeting Expertise. That plus 90, if I use a maxed Fleeting Expertise and a maxed Streamline, it doesn't matter because I'm capped at 175. So if I have a rank 3 Fleeting Expertise now, that 40 plus 30 is going to make it 170%, which means I'm not exceeding my cap, I'm also not wasting capacity on my builds, and I'm also not using, or I'm also not killing as much power duration. So that's also a really important thing you guys want to know about efficiency mods, and definitely get yourself a couple of these at least if you get a chance. The next one I would recommend is Overextended. Overextended is going to increase your power range by 90%, but it's going to decrease your power strength by 60%. Now that might sound like it sucks, but there are a bunch of Warframes that do not need power strength whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. Like if you have a Nyx Chaos build, you don't really need power strength for that particular kind of build. So you want to have yourself like a maxed out Overextended. This also may be another one that I would recommend. Actually, all of these that have plus and minus, I would recommend you guys having multiple versions of these so you can kind of like, you know, set them where you want them in their ranks, and then you could just modify your Warframes however you want. But ultimately, Overextended definitely makes it on the list of mods that I recommend that you guys want to have and hold on to. Streamline is one of my favorite mods to use because not only does it increase power efficiency by 30%, it decreases nothing else. It has no negative on it, so it's absolutely fantastic. But your power efficiency is going to make it cheaper for you guys to use your Warframe abilities. And this is definitely one that I wind up using on a lot of Warframes. So Streamline is definitely a big deal, and definitely get yourself one of those. Stretch is an epic mod. You guys are probably going to pick this up early on into the game, and even though it is a silver, this is the mod that you have currently for your power range that is not considered a Oricon Derelict mod, or like a Vault mod. because it has no negative. But once you get this stretch mod, that is awesome, because a lot of your Warframes are going to need range on them, and this is the mod that you want to be using even into late game. Transient Fortitude is definitely a mod that you guys want to get yourselves a hold of, because what this is going to do at max rank is it's going to increase your power strength by 55, and even at max rank, it's only going to kill your duration negative 27.5%. So that's actually really good. So if you guys get a chance to get yourselves a Transient Fortitude, definitely get yourself one of these. This also, even though, you know, it's still good, I would recommend you having multiple versions of these, so that, like I said, again and again, you guys are going to be able to, like, affect how your builds work. You guys are going to be able to manipulate your builds better with having more of these kinds of mods. The last set of mods that I'm going to recommend for you guys for your Warframe abilities are going to be drift mods. Now, drift mods are going to be found in the puzzles that you guys can do over here on Lua. Lua is like the moon that's, you know, hanging off of Earth and stuff. But basically, pick any of these missions other than defense or survival, probably like the exterminates or where I go, the spies, or the captures. Pick any one of those. Exterminate, spy, capture. Go there, and there are going to be puzzles inside of these levels. I'm going to make a video in the future about this, probably a part of the Platinum series, because these drift mods are pretty quick sells. You can usually get rid of these things pretty fast. But basically, the drift mods, you go into Lua, you find the puzzle, you complete the puzzle, and you get yourself drift mod. Now, different drift mods will drop from different puzzles, and like I said, we can get into that in another video. The first drift mod that we're going to take a look at that I'm going to recommend for you guys is Coaction Drift. Coaction Drift is going to increase your aura strength by 15%. It's also going to increase your aura effectiveness. So that's really cool. Think about whatever aura mod that you're wearing at that time. Having a Coaction Drift along with it is just going to make that aura mod even stronger. So that definitely makes the list as a mod that I would recommend that when you guys get, you hold on to. Cunning Drift is a really cool mod, because what this does is, on top of increasing your slide and your friction, or on top of increasing your slide and decreasing your friction when you're sliding, it's going to increase your power range by 15%. So for those of you that, you know, have all the mods that you can on, this is going to give you just that little bit more. So having a Cunning Drift to, I guess, basically make your range larger for your Warframes is definitely one that you want to have. Definitely recommended, especially if you're looking to become really OP. Endurance Drift is another drift mod you guys want to have. 15% power max and plus 12 parkour velocity. But the 15% power max is really key, because basically what this is going to do is, when it says power max, it's talking about your energy pool. Your, like, the mods that you would use flow for and stuff like that. So that's a really good one. That's going to increase your energy pool, which is definitely necessary for majority of the Warframes in this game. Power Drift is a great one to have, because on top of it increasing your power strength by 15%, it's also going to give you a 30% chance to resist knockdown. So that's really awesome. But this is a great one because everything on it is positive. It's not like giving you any negative, you know, like effects or anything like that, like a few of the other mods we showed before. But this is definitely a good one that you guys want to have when you complete those puzzles on Lua. And the last mod that I'm going to show you guys is Speed Drift. Speed Drift is going to increase your sprint speed by 12%, and it's going to increase your casting speed for your Warframe abilities by 15%. So this is definitely one that I would recommend having, especially if you want to run faster and you think your Warframe needs to be, like, casting its abilities quicker. Definitely get yourself a Speed Drift. But you guys, for now, that about wraps it up with all the mods that I feel are definitely necessary mods that you guys want to have. Definitely the mods that I use more than any other mods in the game as far as my Warframes go. If you guys did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, please leave a like. If you guys want to see more mod videos and what mods you should have as far as your weapons goes, you know, primary, secondary, melee, or even, like, let's say your companions, your sentinels, whatever, let me know. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the description below just so I know. And for those of you guys that aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I don't know why you guys haven't dropped a sub already yet. Maybe it's your first time here, and if it is, welcome. If it's not, what the hell you doing, man? Just drop a sub on the channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, hang out with us. We all cool. Anyway, getting into it, for those of you guys that haven't seen, I have a ton of other videos that you guys will find really helpful for Warframe. If you guys want to check out the raid tutorial, or if you guys want to check out what you need to know about Warframe, which is the one that I just posted before this. I have other helpful videos like best strategies for ranking up your syndicates, best strategies for earning credits, best strategies for your mastery rank, like how to increase your mastery rank. Also, on top of that, I've got playlists about all the builds that I currently have in the game and the ones that I use. You guys can check that out in the description below. Also have a playlist for Warframe superheroes if you guys want to see Warframes look like superheroes. And I also have a playlist down there for community challenges, which is basically if you guys want to see what it looks like having no mods but going to do missions, like really high level missions. 100% your skill does not matter. It does not matter how good you are in this game. Your mods are basically what are going to make you skillful in this game. So you guys can watch those and see me struggle, and those are a lot of fun. You guys have been laughing a lot at those videos. I would definitely recommend for you guys just to take a look at all the videos that I put up on my channel. Click the ones that you feel are going to be more helpful for you, or if you're just looking for, like, kind of like just to laugh, if it's not Warframe related, it's probably a comedy video, and I would definitely watch that video. The biggest one that I would recommend is going to be the sub-series video. It's called Greatest Story Ever Told, sub-series episode 1, Awakening, and that was for 500 subs. Guys, we are gaining on 1,000 subs really, really fast right now, which is when I'm going to drop episode 2 for the sub-series, so you guys can check out those. Those are really funny, like, I'm dead serious. If you guys like watching PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, just any of the gaming, like, style comedians that are on YouTube, I definitely recommend watching these videos, because, like, I love watching them too, like, and I get a lot of my humor and comedy and stuff like that from them. So if you guys enjoy if you guys enjoy their videos and you actually like them as people and stuff, check out the same videos that I got on my channel, or similar style videos that I have on my channel, which is going to be the Greatest Story Ever Told. But I also have a bunch of other ones. Like I said, if it's not Warframe related, it's probably comedy, so you guys can get into that stuff as well, and let me know how you like those in the description below. But you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really hope you guys liked this video and it was helpful. Again, if it was, drop a like, and I will see you guys in the next video.